I was invited to become a Wizard of Ads partner because I saw a disconnect between running a powerful branding strategy and what I had experienced inside companies as a sales operations strategist across the globe. Since becoming a Wizard of Ads partner, I've immersed myself in leadership and culture under the hypothesis that these two elements were the catalyst for sustainable success. I always knew I could get an immediate lift in sales by training the salespeople, but it was never enough to evoke real change. For that, I needed to focus on the leaders. For those willing to put in the time, energy, and money, I knew I could teach them to fish. As the pandemic's hands first firmly gripped around society's throat, I had a breakthrough. I saw a pattern that no one else had seen before. A correlation between culture and motivation. Now I was on a quest to uncover the universal truths about culture. In advertising, Roy H. Williams teaches us that identity, purpose, and adventure are the three most dominant motivators. Professor Ruth Moss Cantor of Harvard University supports this notion in her research around meaning, membership, and mastery. People buy things that tell others who they are and what they believe in, what they stand for, and what they stand against. They do the same thing with their job. We want to work for a company that believes in what we believe in, that stands for the things that we are proud to represent. When their personal brand and the company's brand mean different things, you get disengagement. People want to live a life of meaning, of purpose. They want to matter, and they want to contribute to something bigger than themselves, to leave a dent in the universe. That's how Wikipedia and Linux were built, by thousands of highly intelligent volunteers looking to contribute to something that matters. The third internal motivator is mastery, or as Roy would call it, adventure. People crave adventure, the call of the wild, stepping into the darkness. And, like mastery, adventure comes with its own trials and tribulations, challenges that test our grit to make us feel alive.
This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Surviving an adventure gives us a sense of pride and accomplishment, and this mastery feeds confidence, and confidence feeds competence, and competence is the second thing all customers are looking for when selecting a solution provider. Then there are the external motivators. After rooting around in some pretty dark places, I've ascertained that external motivators are the heroine of motivation, both for the employer who more often leans on them too readily or sadly disingenuously to do what the latest book tells them to do. Compensation is where 99% of business owners fixate their efforts. People treasure three things: time, money, and energy. While money is renewable, time is a non-renewable resource, and energy is what people have left over after work to enjoy family and fun, or to gulp down an overabundance of bad calories and fall asleep drooling on the couch.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs.
Excuse me.
Chili baby back ribs.
Many businesses only offer money, but I would propose the most valuable compensation is time, particularly when there's enough battery left at the end of the day to enjoy it. The thing about pay is, the worse the culture, the more the company has to pay. In the spirit of Penny Williams, that makes money and culture interchangeable. The second external motivator is power. Too often, however, promotions are where great employees go to fail, drunk on the delusions that they call all the shots now. In a world where the majority live in survival mode, ranking up is often a grasp for belonging in the dog-eat-dog world of one-upmanship. It takes the rare purity of a hobbit to not be irrevocably corrupted by power's seduction.
Precious.
Third is the often well-intended, occasionally manipulative praise. This shows up as scoreboards, public accolades, and Google reviews. When aligned with genuine gratitude, praise is a powerful motivator. In a toxic culture, it's merely salt on a sucking chest wound on the battlefield of life.
Harry, here's Desmond. We gonna fix you up. You just gotta keep breathing.
We've all heard people don't quit jobs, they quit bad bosses, right? Micromanagers frustrate employees when they limit autonomy. Founded in fear and desperation, micromanagers fixate on the minutia of other people's work because they're afraid that they will lose their own rank and position in the tribe. Little do they know that their actions are further increasing the risk of failure by driving away otherwise great employees. Managers can reduce their discomfort by layering in less sexy internal motivators. When employees are sufficiently satiated, they're most likely to do more than what is asked of them. The third motivator is much less obvious, but it is a consistent undercurrent across all of the research. We constantly hear about goals, KPIs, sales quotas, and firing the guy with the worst results at the end of the month, right? But we never hear about how a goal establishes your KPIs that allow you to reverse engineer the RGAs, that's the revenue generating activities, based on your VBBs, that's the value-based behaviors, to meet or exceed your goals. It is impossible for your employees to control the goals and KPIs you created out of thin air, but they have complete control over their actions and behaviors. When I extrapolated this mess, we were able to mathematically motivate employees by expanding the definition of previously misunderstood results-based punishment. But there was one more thing, something I've dubbed anti-motivators. The go-to tool of the lazy and ignorant. After spending a lot of time with my friend Brene Brown, I went on to distill her masterful work into the 3 evils: weaponized fear, shame, and guilt. Incendiary bombs drop daily in businesses to kill culture and gain compliance. But compliance doesn't get you what you want.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
What you really, really want, compliance, only gets you defiance. It creates disengagement, dissent, and a drop in productivity and morale. Sure, you get a selfishly gratifying instant response, but that's short-term thinking. You lose positive forward momentum, people willing to go above and beyond, and in the worst case, supervillains. At least you're supervillain, because they're going to become your competition and your worst nightmare. And this led me to form my hypothesis that culture is motivation. And when we put the right principles, processes, policies, procedures, people, and performance metrics in place to elevate the culture and get out of the way of progress, you can build a happy, healthy, wealthy culture. And a happy, healthy, wealthy culture feeds a world-class buying experience. And world-class buying experiences are the stories the Wizard of Ads tells so well. Now, you may be feeling this seems like an oversimplification of culture and motivations, and you'd be right, but we will never be able to affect lasting change if we continue to overcomplicate the subject. We'll get deeper into the weeds after we've mastered the basics. And the research clearly tells us that this is where we start. And neuroscience tells us that to maximize retention and recall, we need to keep it simple, silly. A happy culture is a culture filled with genuine gratitude. People crave praise, but from a perceived disingenuous source, it only serves up curdled milk. In Steve Foran's book, Surviving to Thriving, I learned the raw power of gratitude. Done authentically, served up daily, and embraced like a warm hug, gratitude is truly the secret to happiness. Done poorly, well, let's just say you're better off not saying anything at all. A wealthy culture radiates a sense of abundance. When we're thinking abundantly, we're in thriving mode. When we're surrounded by penny pinchers and misers, we have no choice but to toil in survival mode. In the absence of internal motivators, we feed our otherwise empty souls with cold, hard cash. And when we're toe-to-toe with anti-motivators and demotivators, we demand a PETA tax. Or as I like to call it, danger pay. And when pay is no longer enough, the standard practice is to promote the devil we know. Left for dead are the most powerful motivators, the internal motivators. Because these unsuspecting critters never show up on a P&L, and anti-motivators do such a good job at eliciting those happy chemicals we feel when we get instant gratification, they rarely come up in civilized conversation. This, of course, leads to a compulsion to micromanage and to zero in on results that none of your employees are capable of controlling. Frustrated when it doesn't work, we naturally default to what our daddy taught us about getting results: weaponized fear, shame, and guilt. So what is a healthy culture? That super weird and awkward term, mental health. This is the colorless, odorless, invisible element that is killing your company from the inside. So giving a one-day rah-rah session to a bunch of disengaged, miserable employees who spend their time on Indeed looking for another job seemed counterproductive in my mind. They were the symptom of a much greater problem: shitty leadership. When you have a cancer, you have to cut all the cancer out, or it comes back. Then you have to take care of your business. This requires discipline because nobody is motivated all the time. And discipline requires a code. And the code must be defended and protected with your life, because it is your lifestyle that you are sacrificing if you don't. Your happiness, your health, and your wealth. When you have a happy, healthy, wealthy culture, your people will deliver a world-class buying experience that naturally allows your employees in the Wizard of Ads to tell some legendary stories. And we all know that better stories mean better advertising because real matters. And all of this leads to exponential, profitable growth. But business owners don't buy growth. They buy options. And exponential, profitable growth affords business owners options. And that is true freedom. And this kind of freedom is the number one aspiration of business owners. Therefore, motivation is culture, and culture is the means to freedom. Culture doesn't eat strategy for breakfast. Culture is the strategy.